Federal Green Party leader Annamie Paul is firing back following attempts to remove her from the job.
A small group of councillors sought to force a vote of non-confidence in my leadership. They did so with no substantive consultation with the members they represent. They produced a list of allegations that were so racist, so sexist, that they were immediately disavowed by both of our MPs as offensive and inflammatory and contrary to party ethics, and I thank our MPs for that.
Annamie Paul ultimately did survive last night's emergency meeting, but there were conditions put out by the party, and if she does not meet those conditions, she will face a non-confidence vote, according to some party members, next month. Annamie Paul joins us now from Ottawa. Ms. Paul, thank you very much for joining the program. It was a news conference, not all that long, but one that this town has not seen in quite some time. We've just heard the clip of you accusing some members of the National Council of racism and sexism. Who exactly are you accusing?
I am not going to be naming any names. As I said, there was a small group of councillors, the minority, thankfully, and I'm thankful to all the councillors who were not in that group, but I am not going to be naming any names.
How did that racism play out?
Well, as I said, there was a list of allegations, and without entering into the details, there was a general recognition, as I said, by the majority of our councillors and also by our MPs that these allegations were offensive, inflammatory, contrary to our standard of ethics in our council code of conduct, and should be disavowed. Okay,
you say you don't want to get into the details, but the allegation of non-confidence has actually been widely leaked to the media. So, you know, if I read from it, some of the things in here are an autocratic attitude of hostility, superiority and rejection, failing to assume her duty to be an active, contributing, respectful, attentive member. This is referring to you, saying that your relationship with caucus is hostile, autocratic and dismissive. They say that you've damaged the interests of the Green Party of Canada. These are, they are remarkable allegations to be floated publicly. How is there such a divide?
Them's are big words, yeah.
Yeah, they're big words, yeah. How is there such a divide between what these allegations are saying publicly in a letter and what you're saying?
Well, as I said, these I'm not going to enter into the specifics. I really believe that it's unfortunate that that document was released. I thank very much the councillors who disassociated themselves with it. It was not adopted, and you know that's what you're describing there and what you've read is what I was touching upon. There is, the oldest trope in the book about women like me is the angry Black woman. This is unfortunate. This is unfortunate that we're here. And as I said, I hope that Justin Trudeau is happy for his part that he has played in undermining the historic leadership that I represent.
You said in your news conference, Ms. Paul, that I will make mistakes. Is the situation in which you find yourself and your party finds itself now the result of mistakes you've made?
I'm certain that some part of it is. I want to always be humble enough to accept that I will make mistakes. I am definitely going to and have already reflected, of course, on what I could have done better and what I need to do better in the future. But there is a big difference between accepting your role and having the whole thing foisted on you. And I don't accept that. That again is something that happens to women like me in these roles. We are held to a higher and usually impossible standard. So I definitely I accept that I will certainly have played a part. I am going to work to do better. But again, I am not going to allow this to land at my feet and my feet alone.
I hear what you're saying, that you accept some responsibility but not all the responsibility for the situation that we're now discussing. But of those regrets, is one of them not separating yourself from Noah Zatzman, who was until recently a close advisor of yours and was in some ways the impetus of where things now stand? Well,
I absolutely reject that it was the impetus. As I have said a number of times recently the discussions between Ms. Atwin and the Liberal Party based on their own timelines and based on reports in the Toronto Star and elsewhere began well before any of these exchanges of social media posts happened. And so there were clearly that was not at the root.
But
now, was it not just Ms. Atwin, well, again, Ms. Atwin should be the definitive source on this. And I find it very troubling that even though in her first press conference, Ms. Atwin was asked several times whether I had any role at all to play and what her relationship was with me. And she said very clearly that I was not a factor, that she hoped that we would remain friends in the future, that she wished me the best, and that this was about her and her community, that the version that is the one that seems to be the one of record now is the one that appeared a number of days later after clearly there was a lot of pressure on Ms. Atwin. I mean, I don't think this is going the way that she had hoped.
One of the allegations in this non-confidence motion is that you said Green MP at the time, Jenica Atwin, was not worth a phone call from me. Is that accurate?
I will not respond to the contents of a document that should never have been leaked.
Do you think that you should call?
All I can say, you know, maybe the response is all I can say is that as a Green MP, Ms. Atwin and I worked together very closely. I think she was a wonderful MP. She worked very hard for her constituents as a Green MP. We never had a harsh word between us. We never spoke about Israel and Palestine. Sorry, I should correct that. Our final conversation was a more difficult one. But prior to that, we had never ever had any conflict, and we had never discussed Israel, Palestine, or any of these issues. So I wish her well in her new role. But as I said, we did not have a history of conflict, and I certainly did not ignore what are one of our most valuable assets, which are our MPs.
Those MPs, why are we not hearing more from them in support of you today in the aftermath of you surviving the beginnings of a non-confidence motion?
Today is a very busy day, as you can imagine, for a parliamentarian in a very small caucus. In the case of Paul Manley, in the case of Ms. May, she has a very important and non-movable personal matter that I assure you it makes it impossible for her to speak today, but I completely understand that, and I knew that in advance. I am very grateful to both of them for having immediately disassociated themselves with the allegations contained in the letter sent by this small group of councillors. I'm grateful to them. I support them, and I'm very, very pleased and thankful that they supported me when it really mattered.
There is no question, Ms. Paul, that systemic racism exists widely in our society, and that would, of course, extend to politics and political parties. Do you believe, after the 7 months that you've had as leader of this party, that the Green Party has a greater problem with racism, sexism, or challenges around your Jewish faith than other political parties?
Well, you know, I've only ever been a Green. This is the only political home that I have ever known, and that is such a source of joy for me. It has been one of the pleasures of my life, being a member of this party, running twice for this party, and being the leader. So I don't have anything to compare it to in this sense. And I'm a policy analyst by training and a lawyer, so I can't compare it to those parties. All I can say is that our party has made this a priority. Our members wanted me to make this a priority. We are doing all of the work that you do when you really want to first acknowledge that there's work to be done, and then get to work on doing that work. We're going to have our most diverse slate of candidates ever, our most diverse shadow cabinet ever, and we're going to have one of the gold standard nomination processes to break down that barrier. So that is what allyship looks like. That is what dismantling systemic racism looks like. And I really think that Prime Minister Trudeau needs a refresher on that.
Because you intend to stand against the Prime Minister in an election that could be 2 months away, there will be Canadians, of course, watching all of this unfold. and hearing you accuse members of your own party of racism and sexism, why 2 months from now should Canadians look to the Green Party and have faith that it essentially has its act together?
Because our members selected me as their leader, and our members gave me a very strong mandate when I ran on a platform of bringing further diversity and equity to our party. It is a very strong tribute to our members that they acknowledged that we had work to do and said that we were going to invest in a leader and in strategies to address that. A small group of councillors who are departing the party really within weeks should not be any indication of the incredible openness, inclusiveness, and diversity of our party. But that said, every party should acknowledge that they have this work to do. And acknowledging that you have the work to do doesn't mean that it is all that you are. We're an extraordinary party. We're an increasingly diverse party. And as I said, my leadership, I think, alone is a testament to how committed the party is to diversity.
Ms. Paul, one last question for you. The Green Party Federal Council called on you to hold a news conference, and a very different one from the one you have held today. They have asked or insisted that you do so with one of your MPs, Paul Manley, and come out and repudiate your former advisor, Noah Zatzman's comments and explicitly support the Green Caucus. You didn't do that today. They say that if you don't do that, that you will face a non-confidence motion in the near future. Do you expect to do that? And if not, do you expect to face a non-confidence motion?
When you said I didn't do that today, I just want to say, come on, man, cut me a break here. This resolution is not even 24 hours old, and it doesn't only refer to me. And as I say, so let's be reasonable here. I will certainly be saying more. I'll certainly have additional comments on this. Today was the day to update people on what had happened. There were the big headlines yesterday about this. There were many worried phone calls and many worried emails from our members and the public about this. Today was the day to give them the update on where we are. And of course, there'll be more to say, but I'm not going to force something just because we have this particular news cycle.
Ms. Paul, thank you very much for taking an extended period of time to speak with us. We certainly do appreciate it. And thank you certainly as well to the person who's, I know you're rushing between things, the person holding the camera in these times. I know one of your advisors, and we certainly do appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Have a good, if not busy, afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.